So one of the toughest questions for any organization to answer is, what makes your organization unique? Sometimes it's referred to as a superpower. Often the answer is customer service or our employees. It sounds great, but it's kind of hard to actually qualify. And who's not going to make that claim? So what makes Simplex IT unique? Here's our take and some proof to go with it. 1, we're an MSP first and foremost. 2, we are the industry-recognized leader in co-managed IT services. 3, we have ever-evolving solutions with a focus on security. And 4, we're empowering both clients and community with open knowledge sharing. Now, to be clear, we should be held accountable for those claims. Anyone should be. And if these items are important to you, you should ask your current or potential provider about their standing on them. So for each of these points, 2 questions come up. 1, what's the proof that these are accurate statements about Simplex IT? And number 2 is, riddle me this. If these values are important to you and your organization, what questions should you ask your current managed service provider or one that you're considering to make sure that they're following this? So let's dive into these. Number 1, MSP, first and foremost. So our proof, Simplex IT was founded in 2007 as a managed service provider. To this date, well over 80% of our revenues comes from either managed service provider or co-managed agreements or projects with clients that have an agreement with us. Questions to ask another organization? 1, when did your organization open and when did you start offering managed services? 2, what percentage of your annual revenues comes from managed service agreement and customers? Number 2, we're the industry-recognized leader in co-managed IT services. What's the proof? Okay, this one's easy. Simplex IT has spoken at nearly every managed service provider conference about co-managed services. CEO Bob Coppedge, who looks amazingly like me, pity him for that. But I've written the only 2 books on this topic, both bestsellers on Amazon. I've also created the largest online community dedicated to helping MSPs develop co-managed offerings. We've got currently over 1,500 members participating. And here at Simplex IT, we've created several specific packages and offerings for clients. From offerings specifically tailored to subsets of your IT, we call those silo IT, or to integrating your internal IT people with ours, we call that co-mans. Here's 2 questions to ask. Number 1, do you have specific co-managed offerings that identify what services are included and what services are not? Question number 2, do you have processes in place so that your techs know how to handle service calls and issues with your co-managed clients, or are they winging it? Halfway there. Number 3, ever-evolving solutions with a focus on security. Proof. IT changes. This is especially true with security. Simplex IT has developed an annual process we call SIMS, Simplex IT Managed Services, that revolve around every year we evaluate our software tools, methodologies, and processes. We call those stamps. In 2022, we offered SIMS 22. In 2023, it'll be SIMS 23. What a shock. And part of that process is to evaluate new offerings, new threats, and existing partners and products. We want our offerings to be current enough to be valuable to today's environments without putting you on the bleeding edge. Simplex IT is frequently at conferences evaluating new offerings and new partners and working with both vendors and our peers for constant improvement. Here are the 2 questions to ask. Number 1, when was the last time you added or changed anything to your basic offerings? And number 2, describe your process to review offerings. And finally, number 4, empowering clients and community with open knowledge sharing. What's the proof? Okay, IT is hard. That's why in the first 8 months of 2022, we created over 60 videos and held half a dozen webinars aimed at helping explain IT concepts, buzzwords, current happenings. Okay, and have some fun too. All minimal, usually no, sales pitch. Our e-newsletter goes out to almost 5,000 people each month. We've even created content for our competition to freely use. And all employees of our clients have access to our end user training resources, which includes over 200 courses on a wide range of topics, and not just IT. We want us all to be better and smarter and more productive. So, riddle me this, a couple of questions to ask. Number 1, do you provide educational content for others to use freely? What are some examples, and are they just thinly veiled sales tools? Number 2, what kind of training do you provide your clients? So there you have it, 4 things that we think make Simplex IT unique. And for each one of them, proof to show that we mean it. We're not just saying this to make everybody happy. And finally, some ways that you can ask either your current IT provider or potential IT providers whether or not they can make the same claim and actually mean it. Hope this helps.